everyone. Welcome to the channel. This is Ian Oliva, Human Species Coach. The topic of the day is the power of non resistance and how it can impact the quality of your life experience. Non resistance is a principle that is very common in Eastern philosophies like Buddhism and such. And the idea behind non resistance is imagine it's basically life come with its own energy that's right here and it's independent of you, right? And you also as a human being come with your own energy. And when you meet life and life energy and your energy, they don't necessarily align, are you able to allow life to be even within your realm? Basically, the idea is that it's allowing for things to be as they are without necessarily trying to change it all the time. As human beings, we're specialists at doing, always doing things and fixing things, fixing nature to actually align with our needs. But the idea of non-resistance is that it's the principle of allowing things to be as they are, even if we don't necessarily like it. It's just allowing them to be. And in this manner, by not trying to force, to fight life forces, we're actually aligning ourselves with the forces of life. And imagine, for instance, the river is flowing one direction. The idea of non-resistance is similar to you just basically lay on the river and you allow the current of the river to carry you. And you imagine and you can visualize how much energy you're actually saving and effort that you don't have to put forward because life it just kind of carries you on on its flow, in its natural flow. So this is just kind of an idea so you can visualize what a non-resistance kind of entails. Your ability to allow things to just be as they are without necessarily trying to change it. Like I say, a lot of time in our human nature, our natural behavior is to always, when things in life don't happen the way we like it, we're trying to fix it. And so it can basically align with our personal agenda. And this is kind of tied to the selfish nature that we all have within us of always trying to have things to be the way we like them. I think as adults, we can admit, and we tell kids all the time. Let's say you go into a store with your child, and your child tells you, "Oh, mom, I want this, I want that." And you tell your child, you cannot have everything you want in life. But if we really look into it, we're doing the same thing in our lives. It's just this natural selfishness that we all have within us to always want things to be the way we like. And we have a tough time when life comes at us with its own energy and it's not the way we like. And that can create a lot of tension amongst a lot of us. So, and just by allowing yourself with the idea of non-resistance, you can really save yourself a lot of effort and remove a lot of stress off your shoulders. Like I say, a lot of us spend so much energy going against the forces of life to a point that we're creating unnecessary stress. And we adding this stress level in ourselves. And some of them can be very dangerous to our health. And imagine how this resistance, this inner resistance that we have naturally within us, it's almost like driving a car with the emergency brakes on the entire time. You can see how much burning is actually happening. So with the idea of non-resistance is truly a simple concept of allowing life events, allowing things to be as they are and accepting things as they are without necessarily trying to change it. Another good example, like you can be stuck in traffic. This is one life event that life is giving you. And let's say two people stuck in a traffic, but they'll have different reaction to the event. One person, right? They they know they're going to be late at the meeting, and there's going to be a big manager that's going to be at the meeting, and this is so important for them. They know the pressure, the value of being on time, and now they're stuck in this traffic. They're going to be maybe an hour late, and maybe on top of that, their phone just dies, so they cannot even communicate. So it's like the worst of the worst that can really happen just happen. And for someone that was really, first of all, expecting to be at the meeting, expecting to have big people show up in the meeting, and they know all that pressure is just going to cook is within them, but they're stuck in traffic. There's nothing they can do. The one person can see and visualize all this stress and pressure, and but he's just very, very mad at himself, very mad at the situation, and there goes the stress, and it's cooking him from inside to a point where his high blood pressures rises. I mean, it gets to a situation where visibly maybe other people in the car can see him just bumping his head on the steering wheel, shouting, and just you can see how this event is pretty much eating him up alive, and is really resisting it, and all the stress that you can think of, especially the fact that he's going to miss a meeting, is really tearing him up, tearing him apart. And I'm talking about, we all have seen or experienced extremes of that, where someone can be really so anxious and angry and mad that, I'm talking about, the stress level can actually reach danger levels to their own health, right? Yet it's something, the event they cannot control, but they can always control their reaction to the event. So this is where the principle of non-resistance can actually save your life and help reduce stress within your life, because person number two feels the same event, right? But he can feel the stress of being late, not communicating, but they understand that this is just a moment in life that they don't have control. And instead of going to panic mode, they don't even allow themselves to get there. Instead, they focus on what they can control. Okay, while I'm in the car, there's not much I can do, but actually I can enjoy myself. I can listen to some music, I can relax, I can read a book, and you can really turn this moment. Maybe you have an hour stuck in traffic. You can read a nice book and listen to a nice song or playlist, or even watch a movie if you have a, whatever that, maybe yes, your phone is there. You can read a book, or you can, so many things that you can actually be creative and find how you can spend that time in a more joyful manner. So this is that the principle of non-resistance, and how you can apply that to almost every aspect of your life. And by allowing life to be, even when you lose someone. I know it's a tough position to be, but a lot of time the pain, and especially in the beginning, is hard. We don't want to accept the reality. But eventually we come to that acceptance, the resistance, the non-resistance applies. But this concept is to understand that life has its own has a life of its own, and by allowing yourself to constantly be, allowing life to be, even if you don't necessarily like it, but you understand that just that's just what it is, and you don't have control over that. So, but you respect it, and by allowing yourself to apply the non-resistance, you can truly transform your life and reduce a lot of stress and a lot of pressure that otherwise could have even led you into, some of the reaction can lead someone to an emergency room. No kidding. So yeah, remember that. Remember to align yourself with the forces of life. Don't try to have life aligns to your forces, because that's when you are resisting the forces of life, and that's when you're burning a lot of energy. how do you tie non-resistance and the self-talk? I'm big into the self-talk and the talk that's in your mind. And that self-talk usually really influence how you experience life. Now, in a scenario that how do you apply this principle of non-resistance? All right, it starts with the type of messages that you send yourself through your self-talk. Next time you're in a scenario where you find yourself, let's say in traffic, right, and you can start to practice that non-resistance principle at any moment, because you could be sick, you could have a situation where you break up with your girlfriend, you could lose a job. All right, these are events that life is throwing at you, events that you don't necessarily like, but these events give you a chance to practice on this non-resistance. Next time you break up with your girlfriend, I know it's not feeling good inside, right? And you got to pay attention to the self-talk that's going in. A lot of time when you break up with your girlfriend, especially if she dumps you, the self-talk could be very self damaging, like she found a better man, I'm not worth it, um, and such. This is your chance to practice this non-resistance principle by saying stuff to yourself, because your consciousness listens to yourself and it follows your lead. If you say I'm good, your consciousness is going to create that experience for you to be good. If you say that I'm sad, so you like the captain in this ship that is life and your experience. So next time you find yourself in any situation that life is throwing at you that you don't necessarily like, it's time for you to pause and pay attention and start practicing sending more messages of acceptance. I'm talking about the things that you cannot control. Obviously, the things you can control, you can act on it, but the things you cannot control, like the weather outside and such, you actually practice acceptance and openness to the experience. Breaking up with your girlfriend, a great way to show openness is to tell yourself that in this moment, I don't necessarily like this. All right, I don't like being dumped. But guess what? I am open to this experience that life is giving me right now. I don't like it, but I'm open to it. And a lot of time, a great way to show openness and acceptance is to show gratitude, and I know it sounds crazy, but by showing gratitude, especially in an event that's very difficult, like dumping your girlfriend, I mean, your girlfriend dumping you or losing a family member, you could tell yourself that I'm open to the experience. This is what life is giving me right now, and I'm actually grateful for it. By practicing that over and over, right, you really start to put this non-resistance into play and into action. And in the long term, you're really going to become good at dealing with all these life events that maybe in the past they used to give you a hard time. And what you are really doing, in effect, is when life is giving you lemon, you're learning to make lemonade out of it. In the past, maybe you was resisting a little bit more by showing your frustration. I don't like it. Why me? And such. And by resisting, you are showing that by why me, and that language is basically increasing the resistance that you may have, and as a result it creates more tension. But by showing more openness to the experience, you're able to remove the tension that otherwise you would have created, and you're actually able to find more enjoyment in an event that may have been very difficult in the past. All right, that's all I wanted to add.